Whoa. Okay. Well, it looks as though I'm back on live, ladies and gentlemen. Wi-Fi is doing some weird stuff. So my apologies. I'm going to try, I'm running it from my phone too. We'll do, see if it works for I can't do it from my tablet. So we'll just do it from the phone. Okay? You can still see me. I still have the same 3 people on. Oh, it's 4 now. Anyway, let's get this thing rolling, man. Once again, my apologies. Wi-Fi does Wi-Fi things. And why? I don't know. But my name's Dave Smeltz, and I'd like to thank Rock and Recovery for having me on today. Share a little bit of my experience, strength, and hope, some music to boot. So why don't we get started here, okay? As I said, this wasn't the way I had intended for this to go, but you know, that's the story of my life. a lot of things just take their own course, you know what I mean? So here, hold tight. First and foremost, I have a sobriety date and a clean date. Sobriety date is April 20th of 2001. And my sobriety means that I haven't had a drink, wine or Cuervo and Heineken in a little over 19 years. And clean date means I haven't had a drug on top of that, which includes, Xanax, crack, heroin, all those things. So, and as a result of not having any of those things for 19 years, I'm able to sit here with you right now. Because otherwise, I'd be out trying to get just one more. So, it's only by grace that I'm here. And it's by grace that I stay. I do things to stay sober on a daily basis. And one is getting on, plugging into recovery. And another is sharing my message, So right now I'll share a song, okay? Look, I've got a microphone ready. See, now the angle with the iPad was much cooler. You could see under my, it gave you looked really nice. But this will have to do, All right, this is a song I wrote entitled, It's Grace. It's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Be not the one that delights in doing wrong. Be wise and rise in integrity. Days seem short when the nights are long. Blessed, so blessed to sing this song. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Na 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 na. has set me free. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Na 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 Remember the words of old King Solomon. The fool is wise in his own eyes. Blind is the one who's rooted in yesterday. Aware is the one planted in truth. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Oh, it's grace, grace that's surrounding me. It's grace, grace has set me free. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Ba ba dum ba ba. Ba ba dum ba ba. That's the horn section. Ba ba dum ba ba. Ta-da! All right, it's grace. You know, the way this thing works is I tell a little bit of my story. Hopefully it's sounding okay out there, so I'm running through my phone. So if it doesn't sound okay, imagine that it does, okay? Work with me. I want to thank everyone, all my friends out there for keeping me in prayer. I really appreciate it. As I'm going through, well, I'll say exactly what it is. I got this thing called amyloidosis, which is like a misfolding of protein and stuff, and it affects my heart and all sorts of other parts of my body. As a matter of fact, I didn't sleep at all last night. Isn't that the beginning of a song? I couldn't sleep at all last night. Yeah. Anyway, I flash back on stuff every once in a while. So, thank you all my friends out there and friends I have yet to make for keeping me in prayer. I do really, really appreciate it. It helps a lot, tremendously. But let me tell you a little bit about my sobriety, which is the most important thing to me in the world. I'm going to move this mic so you can see me. Can you hear me? Cool. All right. I have a sobriety date, April 20th of 2001. I would like to dedicate this whole little sing-song type of thing to Orca House. Orca House is one of the very first black residential treatment centers in Cleveland, if not the Midwest. I learned how to live again at Orca House. They gave me their logo was the house with a heart, and that was truly the case, because it was a homey type of atmosphere then. When I got to Orca House, you know, I was coming right off of the street, and my mom dropped me at the front door, and I stood at the driveway, and And I looked up at Orca House and I said, I'm just going to smoke this cigarette. She turned the corner and I took off down the street to get one more because I had $10. Now, I don't know about those folks who want, it's my conviction that there are people who are either they're alcoholic or they're not alcoholic, or heavy drinkers or heavy users or whatever. I had to admit to myself, my innermost self, that I couldn't put it down. Now there's people out there who are still testing the waters, especially during this pandemic thing. And I'm not here to tell you if you're alcoholic or not. I will tell you, however, if you find that you cannot stop drinking or using, there's a solution. And people actually do get sober and stay sober. When I got to Orca House and went through those big front doors, I didn't know anything about staying sober. The people that I saw who went away for a while, we'd party and then they say they were going to treatment. Then they come back in 2 weeks and then they couldn't be around us anymore because, we were partying and they couldn't. Then like another week later, we're partying all again. So I didn't know anyone with any substantial amount of sobriety. And that changed when my eyes were opened at Orca House. This shirt that I have on right here is the 67th anniversary shirt from Founders Day, AA, in Akron, Ohio. This was the second Founders Day I went to. The first one I went to was in Orca House. They had a bus and they took us all to Founders Day. It was my first experience with Founders Day. I had a little bit less than 2 months of sobriety. I went back the next year. I couldn't find anybody to go with me the next year. And I went back the next year and I got the shirt, 2002, and I was also called up on the main stage to read a vision, or I think it was How It Works. I was reading, or the preamble. I read the preamble of Alcoholics Anonymous. Scared to death when they called me. Once I got up there, I knew I was in the right place. So Orca House, I'm not saying that you have to go to treatment in order to get and stay sober. Also, relapse doesn't have to be part of getting sober. I didn't relapse in these 19 years. Right before it, when I was getting some information at Metro outpatient clinic, I wouldn't call it a relapse. You have to have something before you relapse. I didn't have any sobriety whatsoever, so I just, I never unlapsed, pretty much, So, but once I got to Orca House, I started taking this thing seriously. When I got to Orca, I weighed about 134 pounds, and I had been living out of my car. My mom let me into the house just for the week right before I went to Orca House. I had to leave the house when she left her own house because she didn't trust me in her house, and for good reason, because I knew how to get back in, and I would go in there and steal stuff from her and pawn it. Not proud of that, but I was able to make amends to my mom too. So if you happen to find yourself in a treatment center, as they always said, there are no mistakes. You're in a treatment center for a reason. Can you get sober without going to a treatment center? Most definitely. I have friends in the fellowship who have gotten sober without the benefit of a treatment center. What a treatment center did for me was kept me still long enough so that I'd have opened my mind up and let other people have some input into my life. And once I started following direction, my life started to change. I will always, forever, be indebted to Orca House and the men and women there who helped me. Thank you so much. And unfortunately, they're tearing it down, or it's been torn down already. I can't bring myself to go past 89th and Chester to see if it's down or not. All I know is that they said that they were tearing it down. So I got into Orca House, and I was helpless and hopeless, and I found a new way of life. I was introduced to the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was introduced to NA while I was in detox at Kaiser. Prior to that, but once I got to Orca, they got me busy looking into the 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Any 12-step program is a benefit. 12 steps are the program of recovery. And what it brings about is a personality change, sufficient enough to recover from alcoholism and drug addiction. Now, I'm telling you this stuff right now, and I'm sure there's people around who are listening to me say all this, spout all this stuff, and they're saying, that sounds like a whole bunch of bull, you know. Well, I thought it was too, until I had run out of options. And the only option that I hadn't tried to stay sober was the 12 steps. And I knew if that didn't work for me, nothing else would. Nothing else would. So I put my heart into it. And as a result, putting everything into it, I got everything out of it. I'm still sober to this day. And I'm not unusual. I'm just blessed to have sat down just long enough and surrendered just long enough and asked other people to help me. That was a big thing, because when I got to Orca House, you know, of course, I knew everything in the world. I knew everything. I knew everything but how to stay sober. and I was taken under a whole bunch of people's wings. Forever grateful. So if anyone is struggling with alcoholism, and as I said, times of the pandemic, this is a good way to find out if you have a problem with alcohol or not. Or, you know, because when I started drinking, now my party career wasn't all, you know, it wasn't misery, all of it. It was just the end of it that was misery, you know, not being able to live without it. That was misery. You know, when I started drinking, I was having a lot of fun, you know, and I started drinking at probably about 13 or 14, and at that age, you know, somebody came around and they said, well, here, have you ever smoked one of these? I said, well, what is it? They said, it's marijuana. And I said, well, what does it do? And they said, well, it makes you feel better. I said, better than Colt 45? And they said, possibly. I said, well, let me try some. So I did, and I liked it. So I mixed the two for a while. And then, you know, not too much longer, later, you know, during the time of the hippies and stuff, and hanging out around Coventry, which I fit right in, somebody said, well, here, try this. And I said, well, what is it? And they said, well, it's LSD, it's orange sunshine, you know, orange barrel. I said, well, will it make me feel like alcohol and marijuana? And they said, well, maybe better. I said, well, give me 2 hits. Because I want to make sure if I like it, you know, I don't have to go back. I'll just, you know. So that was the route I chose. Anything that made me feel better, you could give me the promise of this will make you feel good, and I'd try it. I mean, I'm sure I must have had some birth control pills along the way and some X-Lax too, that people gave me, telling me that will make me feel better, and I did. But anything with the hopes of helping me get out of myself. So, needless to say, 40 years or 30 some years later, after the age of 14, I started using all sorts of different substances, wound up using cocaine, then crack cocaine. Then somebody said, well, you know what, if you snort heroin, you won't become addicted. And I said, oh, that's a great concept. I'll just snort it. If you think that's true, I got a bridge to sell you. You definitely get addicted, okay? Now, I am so glad that I'm not out there with all these oxys and all this other stuff going on out there. Anything that makes me feel good, I want. to make me feel better. Okay? Being in this program of recovery has taught me how to be okay with myself without using any kind of mood or mind altering substance to make me feel okay. Because the thing with mood and mind altering substances is that I know what I'm going to get when I take it. I'm going to take me out of myself, and I'll be able to deal with, not being able to pay rent. I'll be able to deal with getting fired from work. I'll be able to deal with, my ex-wife divorcing me and taking our daughters out of state or whatever. I'll be able to deal with that as long as I get something in me. But the problem is that stuff wears off. And when it wears off, the problem comes back 20-fold. So I had to learn to live a life of not depending on things to make me feel better. I had to start living a life where I could learn how to be okay no matter what happened. They told me in early recovery, just because you get clean and sober doesn't mean that everything's going to go your way. And I'm glad they told me that, because I was hoping, listen, I'm going to get clean, I'm going to get the family back, I'm going to have a job, I'm going to have a girlfriend, I'm going to go to Hawaii, not a lot of that stuff happened. I think I had a girlfriend. Those don't last either for me, for some reason. I don't. But either way, I've learned not to become dependent on other things. I'm dependent upon a power greater than myself, which I've learned to depend on, because that power doesn't leave. I'm not going to start spouting about God or anything like that, because when I came into this thing, I didn't believe in any kind of God. I have learned to believe in a power greater than myself, which has anchored me no matter what goes on in my life. That's why I'm able to deal with, this amyloidosis crap, because I've got a power greater than me. It's holding me. It's holding me. I used to think that was a sucker move. Don't talk to me about God. That's a sucker move. Until I really needed a power greater than myself. And I find that I'm solid in that. It's an anchor in my life, So no matter what comes down the pike, I may feel crappy for a while, I may feel crappy for a long time. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I do know that I'm supposed to get this thing called an ICD, because my heart's like it's beating backwards or something. It's all those years of playing reggae on the 1 and the 3. My heart's beating backwards for some reason. It's a nice beat, but it would help if it was consistent. You know what I mean? So they want me to have an ICD implant. Let me slow down a second. They want me to have an ICD implant, which is basically like jumper cables, so that when my heart starts to, ventricular tachycardia starts beating too fast, the jumper cables pop in and it shocks me, and my heart, kicks back in, hopefully. So I'm having that put in Friday. So once again, issues are like tissues. You pull one out and another one follows right behind it. So this is just another issue. Hopefully I can share what's going on with me, and it might help someone else. That's what they told me about recovery. When I share what's going on with me, I get out of myself. And I'm not so concerned about, oh, pour me another drink. I'm not concerned about that. I'm just here to hopefully be able to help someone else with my experience, So I went through ORCA. I went to the PASS program with transitional housing at Salvation Army. I stayed at ORCA for 104 days, stayed at the PASS program for 8 months, and as a result of learning how to live sober on a daily basis, I have today, sober and clean. And if I do a little bit more today, tomorrow, that maybe I'll stay sober tomorrow. But all I have is right now. Tomorrow is not given, right? Okay. So if anyone is struggling, they think they might have a problem with alcoholism, there are people you can call. You can call AA, central office, downtown, just look in the phone book. Call any treatment center. Just look in the phone book, Google treatment, Google help. I can't stop. You know what I mean? And you'll be able to find some help somewhere. Just ask for help. That's the first thing. You have to ask for help. Okay? A closed mouth don't get fed, right? So I don't have a problem opening my mouth, obviously, anymore. So why don't I open it and sing? Okay? Tra-la-la. All right? Here's a song I wrote. It's about relapse, actually. And as I said, relapse it doesn't have to be a part of your recovery. But if it is, there's no shame in it as long as you pick yourself up and get back in the program and stay sober, you know? Let's see. This is called, entitled, what is it? Hold on. Oh, the title's in the name. Calling. It's called Calling. Calling, sounds more like bawling. It cries to me. See another brother falling, back down to crawling on hands and knees. See another family's heartache when turning to partake in insanity. See another mother's worry, her child to bury, dad to be free. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. I hear another angel calling, still sounds like bawling. It cries to me, tied to a mask of daydream. It's really not the same thing as reality. Running from the children's mother, staying undercover to hide from self. Turning from every mirror so as not to catch an eyeful of someone else. Na 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 na. It cries for me. Gonna place another order while standing on the corner. I just can't leave. It's hard to make a living in obsession, caught up with me. Listening to the ego that goes everywhere that we go. It lies to me. 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 That was Calling. You know, I don't know what the future's gonna bring, but it's okay, because I got today. Hey, right? I know that, you know, what's been going on. I'm so being blessed is being able to still play this guitar, because I've got a lot of, you know, there's numbness and stuff going on. So a lot of times I'm just playing by memory, you know, because I can't really feel what's going on here. So don't expect no like Hendrix leads or nothing, because good luck, man. It ain't happening today. But I'll play some chords for you and sing, okay? Ooh, oh, you can see my nose now. I'd like to do one more for you. once again, thank you to My Recovery Rocks. If you see, if you see this recovery rocking, do come a knocking. Yeah, you can use that, folks. You can use that. But I'd like to thank 91.3, the Summit FM, for allowing me to come up here with My Recovery Rocks. And every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, there's an artist that will come and play and talk about what's going on in their lives. And so please tune it in. And you know, to have a radio station and, you know, website and everything dedicated to recovery is a blessing. So if anyone needs a little support, tune into, you know, My Recovery, Rock and Recovery on 91.3 The Summit, and you'll hear some recovery music as long as get some recovery insights about what's going on. There's an app as well that you can use for Rock and Recovery. I want to thank Rock and Recovery for allowing me to play at Founders Day, at their little get-together every Founders Day, which I missed this year. We all missed that, but they're doing great work. So please support them as much as you can, okay? And support yourself. Do something good for yourself too, you know. A lot of times we concern ourselves not so much about, you know, what we can do for somebody else, but we at least, you know, we can get caught up in the, you know, what are my limitations or whatever. At least I can, and I try not to do that, because, you know, there are no limitations. We're only limited about in as much as we don't try to do something, you know. Just like, you know, me playing this, I trust and believe. As much as I love you folks, because I just wasn't feeling right, you know. But I should know by now, music always makes me feel okay. So, you know, it's taking that one last step, you know, sometimes bypassing what I think is the right thing. That's what I did at Orca House. What I thought was the right thing to do was probably go out and, you know, sneak out and come back, you know. But fortunately, I stayed. So sometimes if we just intuitively tune in, the best thing that's supposed to happen for us will happen for us. So I try to stay connected. Here's a song, one last song for you all. You know, there's so many things going on in my head right now. I have to kind of narrow. I have to put blinders on in my prefrontal cortex here, my prefrontal lobe. Here's a song by a cover song, one by Van Morrison, Van the Man. You know, after John Lewis passed away, and I started thinking about all the people who marched across that Edmund Pettus Bridge and were violently attacked at one time. And I just thought about hopefully how far this country has come, you know, for a reason, and that change is on the way, and have faith. I'm not going to tell you what that change looks like, but you'll feel it. If you start feeling good, you know the right change is coming. So something tells me you're probably feeling okay. Change is coming. All good stuff. Anyway, enough from me. I love you. One more. You can take all the tea in China, put it in a bag, a brown bag for me, sail around the 7 oceans, put it right down into the deep blue sea. And she's as sweet as Tupelo honey. She's an angel of the first degree. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey. to freedom. You can't keep us, 'cause our eyes can see men with insight, men in granite, armored knights, intent on chivalry. And she's as sweet as Tupelo honey. She's an angel of the first degree. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey, baby, from the bee. You can't stop us on this road to freedom, and you can't keep us, 'cause our eyes can see men with insight, and men in granite, armored knights, intent on chivalry. And she's as sweet as Tupelo honey. She's an angel of the first degree. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey, baby, from the bee. You can take all of the in China, put it in a bag, a brown bag for me. Sail round the 7 oceans, drop it right down into the deep blue sea. And she's as sweet as Tupelo honey, and she's an angel of the first degree. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey, baby, from the bee. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, and she's an angel of the first degree. She's as sweet as Tupelo honey, just like honey, baby, from the bee. Just like honey, baby, from the bee. Just like honey, baby, from the bee. Love you. Peace. Love to you all.